110 laps on iRacing's New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Round 5 of di9 Designs turned down for what is live. I'm Rick James, and you are tuned in just in time to watch this 5th round unfold. We've had 4 winners. There we go, Brady. 4 winners in 4 races, looking for 5 winners in 5. Pace car's going to peel off. Mississippi's Josh Arnold has control of the field with Nate Lehman on his outside of the Midas Ford. Green flag is out. Let's go racing. Josh Arnold completes the first lap in the lead. Nate Lehman sits in that second position with Hunter Peach sitting clear in third in the number 26 Green Camry. Out of that second corner, everybody seems to make it through okay for the second time around. Jose Ruiz in the number 2-3 DuPont Chevrolet comes out of that second corner sitting in 7th. Shad Swatsworth bugging him for that position. Jeff Lednam in 9th, and Byron Jones rounding out the top 10. Enrique Quinones to his inside in the number 9 Michelob Chevrolet. Going 3 wide there, almost. Jeff Lednam brings that snap-on Ford back in line. The 3-7 struggling to hold on, getting loose out of that second corner. Zach Meredith in the 1-7 Pepsi Cola Chevrolet. He's brought his car to 4th position. He's got the fastest lap so far with a 31.18 seconds. 9 drivers on that last lap turning in their fastest times of the night. Rhinelander, Wisconsin's Matt Boone trying to join the fun. He sits on the tail end of that top 5. He wants a piece of Zach Meredith. Rounding out that top 10, Jeff Lednam in the 3-7, catching up to the 44 of Byron Jones, one of those repeat cars. Jeff No in the other repeat car in the number 2 Navy Ford. So far, so good. 6 laps underway. Nate Lehman now has sole possession of the lead. He's gotten around Josh Arnold in turn number 1. The 2-2 Southern Beverage Company Ford out of that second corner, trying to hold on to the spot. There's the 2-6 of Hunter Peach right up the inside. Peach trying to take second place away from Josh Arnold. Zach Meredith in the 4th position. Matt Boone sitting in 5th. Further on back through the field, Chris Murphy sitting in the 16th position. The number 2-1 Offer Pad Supra sits just ahead of the Apple Music Ford. The number 8-1 lovely paint scheme being piloted by John Osborne down the back straight. Stephen Brinnick to the inside now. Osborne sends it in way deep in turn number 3. Tries to keep that pretty Ford off the wall with a not so pretty approach to that third corner. Stephen Brinnick takes advantage, and the Pennsylvanian brings it up into 17th position, but he can't clear him into turn 1. Brinnick sends it in deep, and the 7-1 ex-Rocker Ford of Mike Campbell, Papa Bear to you. He brings it up into 19th position, now chasing down John Osborne. Nate Lehman in the lead with a blink or two. Does that scare Hunter Peach at all? He's sitting in the second position, and the Ream Supra filling the rear view mirror of the number 14. Let's ride around with Hunter Peach. He sits in second. It's a Toyota Ford top three, but before we do, Josh Arnold slapping the wall on the outside of turn number 2, making way for Zach Meredith. The number 17 Pepsi Cola Chevy to the inside of the Mississippi native. The Wisconsin pilot Matt Boone watching on in 5th. Drag race for 3rd place between the two. Meredith sending it down to the inside lane, makes contact with the 2-2. Josh Arnold having to go high, check up, and avoid further contact right up alongside the wall, keeping his Ford Mustang in one piece. Chad Swatsworth now to the inside of Jeff No. The number 1, Tracker Boats Bass Pro Chevrolet. To the inside of the number 2, almost making contact out of that 4th corner. Both drivers trying to stay just a little bit further apart than that, but keeping the racing exciting for now at the very least. Cindy Thompson in the chat says, let's go Josh Arnold, number 22. She's cheering for McGee, Mississippi's J-Paw, as he's known to some, around the iRacing garage. Looking at those di9 Designs points coming into tonight's race, J. Paul Arnold sits 5th in those standings. He's got 130 points. He finds himself 11 points behind our race leader, Nate Lehman. Hunter Peach is in the 2nd position in that 2-6. Peach comes into this race 7th in the points. Last season's runner-up, tied for 7th with Chris Murphy, the pilot of the number 2-1 offer pad Toyota Supra. Sitting right now in the 16th position. John Osborne still behind him. Andrew Baker just ahead. Let's ride around with the Toyota driver in the 2-1. Chris Murphy still working on Andrew Baker up in 15th. Meanwhile, Zach Meredith being worked on by the 2-2 of Josh Arnold. Meredith almost sliding the tail of that Camaro out of the 4th corner. Josh Arnold taking notice. And the single file parade, not uncommon at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Some might describe it as just a really long Martinsville. 1 mile in length, the Magic Mile, as it's known, also has a 1.5 mile road course. There you can see on the bottom of your screen, or right behind our graphic, where that extension begins and ends. Fight for the lead. Hunter Peach up the backside of Nate Lehman, can't pull it off. Further on back, you've got Jose Ruiz paired with Byron Jones. Then Corey Blevins in the number 48, making hay while the sun shines down on the northeastern asphalt. The number 48, Blevins Design Camaro to the inside of the number 9, Southern Beverage Michelob Ultra Chevrolet. New Jersey's Enrique Quinones sits ahead of Jeff Lednam in the Snap-on Ford. Lednam almost went off the track earlier in this race, but he's got it pieced together. 16 laps underway. He sits in lucky number 13th position, 2 1/3 seconds ahead of Jarrett Manning in the number 7 Duke Chevrolet. No doubt that the North Carolinian is rooting for his Blue Devils in this tournament. Anybody watching, let me know who Duke is playing, because I have no idea who's still in this tournament and who's not. I know Miami's still in it. I think they play USC. I have no idea. But Jarrett Manning is doing well so far. He finds himself in the 14th position. At the front, though, Hunter Peach does not let up. Nate Lehman's ahead by 1/3 of a second. Look in the bottom right of your screen. Don't forget, if you have Amazon Prime, link that with your Twitch account. Get yourself Prime Gaming. Not only do you get free loot for your games every single month and also some free games every month, you get one free Twitch subscription. Make that Rick James TV. Why not? Bama Trama is in the chat. Speaking of subscribers, one of the biggest fans of Rick James TV. Glad to have Mama Vols in the house. Her son Terry is broadcasting right now on Burnt Rubber Media. Shout out to Terry and all the folks over there. I believe that's twitch.tv/Burnt Rubber Media. I don't have the link. Mama Vols, if you do, go ahead and post that in there and let the people know. Shad Swathworth trying to let somebody know he needs help. You just saw that Tracker Boats Chevrolet slap the wall out of turn number 2. Dr. Bush in the chat. Connor Cordes, as he's known. Big man around ENEA says, yo, what's going on, Connie? Glad to have you here 20 laps into this race. Shad Swathworth keeps his Camaro in one piece after almost slamming the wall hard enough to knock himself out of alignment. Further up ahead, Zach Meredith's third place is under contention. Josh Arnold wants a piece of the top 3. The Southern Beverage, is that Budweiser this week, or is it someone else on the side? Who's on the side of the 2-2? Or is it just Southern Beverage? Not just Southern Beverage this week, but the Southern Bev Company. Ford Mustang gets around Zach Meredith, and Meredith leaves the door open for the Wisconsin pilot, Matt Boone in the number 3-8 Mac Tonight Chevy. He gets to the inside of Meredith for the 4th position, but can he hold onto it? The 2 of Jeff No gets to the inside of Meredith. Some minor contact that forces No to check up hard. Opens up the upstairs door for the 1 of Shad Swathworth. He's up 2 places from where he started. And when positions are scarce, given the difficulty in passing at New Hampshire, Swathworth will take every open window he can get. But alas, he's pinned back in the 7th position, 22 laps into this one. Hunter Peach gives it a deep send into the first corner. Looks downstairs on Nate Lehman, but can't quite pull off the move. We're about halfway through this first run. That link right there in the chat is for anybody that wants to check out Bama Trama's son, Terry Radford, doing Burnt Rubber Media racing right now. Go ahead, give it a shot. I won't care. Terry's a great friend of mine. Send my love and then come back as soon as they're done. Nate Lehman leading by 0.2 of a second. Corey Blevins in the 11 car, kind of detached from the top 10. He's 2 seconds back of last week's winner, Cole Snyder. And if you didn't see the finish at Daytona last week, not only did you miss a calamitous and thrilling final lap, but a very emotional win for this Pennsylvanian here, winning in his Ernie Irvin liveried number 24 CD&R Chevrolet. You've got to check that out right here on Rick James TV. Cole Snyder doing okay, sitting in the top 10. Our biggest mover so far. Cole's up 6 places from where he started. Lehman in the 14 has a mirror full of Hunter Peach. Looks like he's got his blinking under control from earlier. This is the view from the back end of the 1-4 Midas Ford. Hunter Peach right behind him in that 2-6, chasing him down. This is what half a second looks like at New Hampshire. 25 laps now underway from the Magic Mile. Chris Murphy now working on the number 7 of Jarrett Manning, looking to pick off the Duke Blue Devil in that Camaro. The orange Offer Pad Supra looks to the inside. Murphy sitting 1 second ahead of John Osborne, who's sitting 4 seconds ahead of Andrew Baker in the 0-2 Flat Out Chevrolet. Baker almost making contact with that wall, giving it a full send. He was having some trouble in practice earlier. I told him, Andrew, the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. I have no idea what that's going to mean for this racetrack, but he's certainly doing his best in that 17th position. And you got to give it up to Papa Bear Campbell in the number 7-1 X-Rocker Mustang for the 2nd week in a row, carrying the colors from the Gaming Furniture Company. Been around for, I believe, 15 years. And Papa Bear showing a little bit of love to his favorite gaming furniture company. And accessories company, too. I think they make gaming chairs. I think they make glasses. I think they make all sorts of fantastic stuff. Not only desks, all sorts of stuff that you need. But Papa Bear showing love for the X-Rocker, folks. Nate Lehman leading by a third of a second. Shad Swadsworth and Jeff No still side by side. They are inseparable. The number 1 Tracker Bass Pro Chevy gets right into Jeff No, who slams the wall. Has to really get on the brakes to avoid getting into the 2-3 of Jose Ruiz. 28 laps into this one. No hits that wall pretty hard, but they keep on moving. Let's ride along with Shad Swadsworth and watch that interaction one more time. Check this out. Whoa, or not. Let's see. There we go. Let's ride along with the one car. Riding along now from No's perspective. The one car's really sent it in deep on the 2. Jeff No, you can see just by that red needle struggling to get going. The toe's been bent out a little bit and he struggled to get on the power there. No finding himself in the 11th position. From that transaction, Shad Swadsworth sitting in the 6th position, 1.8 seconds off of Zach Meredith. One more look at the fight for the lead. Nate Lehman in the 14 Midas Ford, now catching up on Steven Brinnick in the number 12 Napa Chevrolet. Brinnick watching the fight for the lead through his rear view mirror. The Pennsylvania native will make way for the leader on the top side. And the 1-4 of Nate Lehman will put Steve Brinnick a lap down. Hunter Peach will follow him. 31 laps underway from the Magic Mile. Brinnick drifting up the racetrack. He's got the 2-2 of Josh Arnold trying to get around him. It is a Toyota Ford top 3. Hunter Peach, one of 2 Toyotas in this field. Chris Murphy, the other, in the 14th spot. John Osborne catching up to Jarrett Manning, the number 7 Blue Devil Chevrolet, kind of drifting backwards for the last few laps, and now the 81 wants to take a piece out of the North Carolinian. Quinones sending it in deep. The number 9 Michelob Chevrolet in the 14th spot, trying to get just a bit closer to Chris Murphy in lucky number 13th position. Hunter Peach trying to set up the 1-4 of Nate Lehman. Lehman's led almost every lap tonight. The 2-6 of Peach. Is he just waiting, biding his time behind that 1-4, or is he setting him up for just a great in-lap? The 7-1 of Papa Bear Campbell sits right in front of them. Jeff No decides to bring his number 2 Navy repeat Mustang down pit road. He's in 16th. No comes to a disappointing halt, but still plenty of racing to go. We're only 35 of 110 laps into this race. Jarrett Manning gets on the brakes hard for a shallow entrance into turn 3. John Osborne will take the 14th position from him. Hunter Peach looking top side, getting ever closer now to the 1-4. Nate Lehman sweating bullets now, but the Midas Ford holding his own while Josh Arnold patiently waits in the 3rd position. Matt Boone's your highest ranked Chevrolet in the number 3-8 Mac Tonight Camaro. And it's a bit of a distance between Matt Boone and then Zach Meredith, who's running in the 5th position. The number 1-7 Pepsi-Cola Chevy running a top line. Over the last 5 laps, this has been the gap between Meredith and Swadsworth. Swatsworth quicker. Look at that, by almost 0.4 of a second a couple of laps ago. We'll see what the charts say this time by, but Shad Swatsworth has been on the move. Looking at the stats for Shad on that 37th lap. Slower than Jose Ruiz, but faster than Zach Meredith. Jose Ruiz in the 7th spot, 1.3 seconds behind Swatsworth. And he's continuing to get closer to the 1-7 car. Meanwhile, Enrique Quiñones finds himself on the top side of the 7 of Jarrett Manning, and they almost make contact out of that second corner. But the New Jersey pilot gets around the 7, almost scraping the wall into turn number 3. But Quiñones safely rolling in that 14th position. Sacramento native Jose Ruiz starting to get swallowed up by Byron Jones. The 1 of Shad Swatsworth gets around the 7-1 of Mike Campbell. 7/10 sit between Swatsworth and Meredith, who sends it way too high. He has a blink in turn number 3. Half a second is the gap now. Hunter Peach getting just a bit more desperate with the lap traffic in the way. Andrew Baker will make himself scarce in front of the leaders as first, second, and third. Nate Lehman, Hunter Peach, and Josh Arnold will make their way around the 0-2 of Andrew Baker. Jarrett Manning in the 15th position right now. Manning finds himself the last car on the lead lap, with the leaders now exiting turn number 4, while the number 7 Duke Chevrolet enters the first corner. It will be 70 laps to go next time by. If you've just tuned in, I'm Rick James, and you're watching the 5th round of 16 in this 3rd season of di9 Designs. Turned down for what? We've had 4 winners in 4 races. Will we go 5 for 5? The driver leading this race right now, Nate Lehman, has not won this season, and he has been leading the majority of laps today. Hunter Peach looking to the top side in car 2-6, now starting to upset the status quo at the front of the field. The Ream Supra now looks to the inside of Nate Lehman for the lead, and Hunter Peach says, I've had enough of second, it's time to be in first. But can he make it stick? Peach to the inside. He's got a quarter panel on the 1-4 of Nate Lehman. Both Nate Lehman and Hunter Peach winless as they make contact in turn number 1, and driving like that's going to keep them winless, but a little bit of banging and scraping in that first corner doesn't hurt anybody. What's the saying from Days of Thunder? Rubbing is racing. Josh Arnold in the 3rd position now, but not for long if he makes his way around Hunter Peach. On the outside, the 2-2 Southern Bev Mustang now taking advantage of Peach, sending it in deep and trading paint with the 1-4 of Nate Lehman. 43 laps into this one, and Hunter Peach may have just scraped himself a bit too hard in that first corner, sliding with the tail hanging out of that second corner. Hunter Peach a bit more reckless now, but throwing a little bit of spark and fun right before pit stop cycles. We predicted 30 to 40 laps on a pit window. Drivers are going to be able to go about 40 to 50 laps on 1 tank of fuel. Hunter Peach in his 2.6 Ream Supra, half a second behind Josh Arnold. Matt Boone has turned on the jets with a 31.11 second lap. The Rhinelander native now has gone purple. He's got the fastest lap of tonight's race. Chris Murphy's up 4 places from where he started. He spent the first 30 laps of this race outside of the top 15. The number 2-1 Offer Pad Supra is now catching up to Jeff Lednum. He's 2 seconds behind Lednum in the Snap-on Ford. The Maryland native is 8 seconds behind last week's winner, Cole Snyder, currently our hardest charger. Snyder starting in 16th position. He's up inside the top 10. Papa Bear Campbell sits in the 18th position. 1 lap off the pace, just ahead of the pilot of the 2-4 Storm Bowling Chevrolet. Nate Lehman holds on to the lead as Josh Arnold now relinquishes the 2nd spot. Look at Hunter Peach continuing to slide that Ream Supra almost like it's a dirt track. The 3.8 of Matt Boone came down to pit road on lap 40. He finds himself now on the tail end of the lead lap after getting around race leader Nate Lehman. Matt Boone, that last time around, 31.74 seconds. Race leader Nate Lehman, 32.59 seconds. Almost a full second difference between them. Is the short pit the secret? It will be a 2-stop race. Some drivers going to 40 laps, other drivers going to 50 laps on 1 tank of fuel. Matt Boone, one of those drivers that came in on lap 40, not taking any chances whatsoever. Boone comes into this race 10th in the points. He is one of the drivers that has a win this season. Matt Boone has a win. Jordan Bain, who sits 11th in the di9 design standings, has a win. Not present in tonight's race, however. Cole Snyder, he's sitting 9th in the 2-4 Storm Bowling Chevrolet. He's 2nd in points. He's got a win. Zach Meredith in the 1-7 Pepsi Cola Chevrolet. He also has a win. All of the top 7 winless this season. Will we have a 5th winner in 5 races? We'll find out soon enough. 49 laps underway, and we're close to halfway. Josh Arnold sits 4/10 ahead of Hunter Peach. Nate Lehman starting to run away with this lead. It's an 0.8 of a second gap. Jarrett Manning brings his number 7 Blue Devil Chevrolet down pit road for tires and fuel. And I guess you could say the floodgates have opened. This could start our pit stop cycles here. The 1-4 still sits in the top spot. Josh Arnold in 2nd with Hunter Peach in 3rd, but the 2-6 has his mojo back, and that Ream Supra wants a piece of the 2-2 Southern Bev Ford. I'll tell you, one driver who's been on the move as well, John Osborne. He started in the 14th position, fell back almost as deep as 18th or 19th, I believe. But both he and Chris Murphy seem to have gotten a move on just recently. The Apple Music Ford, driving that colorful, what would you call that, cyan, azure, hot pink, salmon-colored Ford. One of the better looking ones out here today. Out of that 4th corner, Osborne's on the move, so look out for him past the halfway mark. 51 laps are now underway. Zach Meredith senses a fast approaching Cole Snyder in the 2-4 Storm Chevy. This is what it looks like from the quarter panel of the 1-7. Well, no, it isn't, because Zach Meredith brings his car down pit road, and the 1-7 Pepsi Camaro is in. That's going to move Cole Snyder up into the 8th position. And how long do we wait on the top 2 to bring their race cars down pit road? Nate Lehman, almost 0.9 of a second ahead of Josh Arnold. The number 2-2 Ford Mustang just ahead of Hunter Peach. Shad Swatsworth sits in 4th. 0.7 adrift of Shad Swatsworth is Corey Blevins. He's up 7 places from where he started. He's up to 5th. Josh Arnold has Hunter Peach bearing down on him. Is Arnold going to be able to hold on? Let's ride along with the Mississippi native. 53 laps underway from the Magic Mile. Arnold is holding on brilliantly in that second position. Hunter Peach trying to hold on to Arnold's second position, and Jarrett Manning has fresh tires and he's trying to split the both of them, and he will as Arnold comes down pit road. Manning gets a move on in his number 7 Blue Devil Chevrolet. Now to the inside of Hunter Peach. Manning, who was falling off, now makes his way around the 2.6 in the second position. He's 1.7 seconds behind race leader Nate Lehman. Lehman in the 1.4. Holding on to those tires. His last lap, 32.69. Jarrett Manning, 32.38. And now race leader is in, and Hunter Peach is your new leader for the first time since lap 2, I think. The 2.6 Ream Supra at the point. Nate Lehman scored in second, but there goes Corey Blevins taking third. Byron Jones now moving up into third after Corey Blevins takes second. Cole Snyder will stay out with Jones, Blevins, and Peach. Matt Boone also staying on the racetrack, but he pitted on lap 40. So we'll see where Matt Boone goes. He was able to make it 40 laps on one set of fuel and tires. We'll see how far Boone goes this time around. Quick math tells you Matt Boone will be able to make it another 23 laps on this run, but we'll see if the yellow flag plays any factors in that whatsoever. Byron Jones still at the point as Sacramento's Jose Ruiz leaves pit road. The number 4-4 repeat 1975 Chevy Camaro glides into that third corner at the Magic Mile. You can think of a lot of historic races here at New Hampshire, but relatively speaking to most tracks on that circuit, it's not necessarily that old of a racetrack. It opened in 1990, I believe on the site of an older racetrack that had been torn down. If somebody else knows, do correct me. I remember one race here, I think Jeff Burton led every single lap at New Hampshire. I think that was in 2000 or 2001. They ran the race on restrictor plates at New Hampshire. Made for quite an exciting afternoon. A memorable afternoon, to say the least. Byron Jones makes his way down pit road, and the number 4-4 Chevrolet gives up first place. That makes your new leader Wisconsin's Matt Boone. NNR Bowling is what he used to be called on the Xbox side. And he now has the point. He's 8 seconds ahead of Nate Lehman in the number 1-4 Midas Ford. You saw a blink out of that 1-4. Is it a bad omen for the future? We'll have to see. Just past the halfway mark, we're coming up to 40 laps to go. Josh Arnold sits in third in the Southern Beverage Ford with Hunter Peach in that fourth position. Jeff No running fifth in the number 2 Navy Ford. No doing a decent job after making hard contact with the one of Shad Swatsworth. No comes into tonight's race sixth in those di9 designed point standings. He's got an average finish of 10th this season. No wins, and that goes for just about everybody in that top 10. Not a single win among anybody from, I believe, second all the way down to 7th. It's going to be a very fun season if the trend continues. But while we're waiting for the drive for 5 different winners in 5 different races, you're looking at the battle for 7th. Corey Blevins up 5 places from where he started after the pit stop cycle. The number 4-8 Flat Out Motorsports Chevrolet sits just 0.3 of a second behind Shad Swatsworth. The number 1 Tracker Boats Chevy made some heavy contact with the 2 of Jeff No. No sits 1.5 seconds ahead, rounding out the top 5. Further on back through the field, Stephen Brinnick in this same pack, 0.4 of a second behind Papa Bear Campbell, while the 1 of Swatsworth tries to get around this lap down car. Brennick finds himself 3 laps down in the 19th position, but he's only 0.3 behind Mike Campbell. Every position matters. Every point matters. You'd love to see the competition between these drivers. Sacramento's Jose Ruiz behind the 1-7 of Zach Meredith. 0.2 the difference between them. There goes the 7-1 of Mike Campbell making contact with the 1-7 of Zach Meredith. Ruiz gets into the 1-7 of Zach Meredith. He has to get on the brakes just a bit. And the Californian on the high side trying to figure out his next move out of the second corner. Keeps it in one piece and keeps it moving further up ahead. Shad Swatsworth finds the 4-8 of Corey Blevins behind him. These two are battling for 5th. Swatsworth sitting in 5th with the 4-8 of Blevins pestering him for the position. Blevins looks like he's finally got a hook. Meanwhile, the 2 of Jeff No wrestling with the 1-7 of Zach Meredith. Both of those drivers discussing the 7th position. Meredith holds onto it. He takes Jose Ruiz with him on the top side. Jeff No in the Navy Ford now has the 9 of Enrique Quinones to his outside. Quinones, however, sitting in 16th, a lap down, and No takes the opportunity to come down pit lane. The number 2 Navy Ford, 67 laps in, brings his Mustang down for service. Matt Boone still holds on to the lead by a 3-second margin over Nate Lehman. That last time around, Nate Lehman finds himself 0.7 of a second slower than Matt Boone, despite the fact that Lehman has tires, 0.8 of a second faster. I'm reading this completely backwards. Matt Boone is slower than Nate Lehman by 0.8 of a second that last lap. Josh Arnold behind him in the 2-2 by 0.2, and these drivers getting close, getting racy. Just 10 laps before Matt Boone's next pit stop. Despite the nice race that he's been driving, Boone will have to come down on lap 80. And before you know it, at the Magic Mile, that's going to be sooner rather than later. Nate Lehman inside 2 seconds and really making up time. Lehman now 1.5 seconds behind Matt Boone in the lead. Josh Arnold 0.3 behind him. Shad Swatsworth less than half a second behind Corey Blevins, but Blevins finally makes his way after being impeded by the number 1. Zach Meredith all over the back end of the 2-3. Jose Ruiz, this is the fight for 7th once again. .71 laps underway. We're inside the final 40. Nate Lehman goes to the inside of Matt Boone. This is the pass for the lead with 39 laps to go. The 1-4 Midas Ford to the inside of the 3-8 McDonald Chevrolet. Josh Arnold watching, trying to take advantage of the open window downstairs on car 38. Boone to the top side. Arnold to the inside. J-Paw edging Matt Boone for that second position. He'll make it stick on the inside line. Will Boone try the crossover out of turn number 4? Jeff Lednam up ahead in the 12th position, and Matt Boone comes down pit road earlier than anticipated, well within that 30 to 40 lap predicted window. He'll give up 3rd place for 4 tires and fuel, and this will be, well, barring a late race caution, will be the final pit stop for Matt Boone. Zach Meredith also coming down pit road in the number 17 Pepsi Chevy. This is the money stop for Meredith. Again, barring a late race caution, Meredith will be making his final stop, but what will that mean for the end of this race? The di9 Designs track fact saying drivers get 4 sets of tires. This will be their second set, or their second change used in this race. So if there's a late race caution, these drivers will have the upper hand, but it will be a gamble for the late race yellow, where Josh Arnold and Nate Lehman should be expected to come down pit road 10 laps from now. They will have fresher tires if the race goes green all the way to the end. It's going to be interesting to see who ends up where, and if that yellow brings out a turnabout to this top 10. Jeff Ledham's on the back end of the top 10, the final car on the lead lap with Nate Lehman going to his inside. That leaves 9 cars on the same lap as the leader, but not for long. The number 2-1 offer pad Toyota of Chris Murphy sitting just a couple of tenths ahead of Nate Lehman, with Josh Arnold closing that gap. Hunter Peach found himself in this same position when he sent it in just a bit too hard into turn number 1, but Peach has been making his way up slowly but surely. Josh Arnold slower than Hunter Peach for the 4 out of the last 5 laps. Peach chipping away right before pit stop cycles. Winless so far this season. Matter of fact, all of the top 7 drivers winless this season. So we've got a great chance of going 5 for 5 here. But now Matt Boone has left pit road, and look at what fresh tires will do. The number 38 McDonald's Chevrolet gets around the 1-4 of Nate Lehman. Boone puts himself back on the lead lap. Chris Murphy being sacrificed to the lead lap. Well, the lead lap gods, I should say, but really it's being sacrificed to Nate Lehman, isn't it? Lehman in the 1-4 working on Murphy being held up. Enough sense in the chat. J. Adam Taylor's here, says, "What's up, brother? What's going on, buddy? Glad to have you here. Welcome." We're just outside of the final 30 laps at New Hampshire in the di9 Designs Xfinity race, round 5 of 16. And we're looking for our 5th winner in as many races. Hunter Peach within 1.5 seconds to the top 2. Matt Boone's last time around, 31.29 seconds. Nate Lehman, your race leader, 32.49 seconds. So Lehman, 1.25 seconds slower than Matt Boone. His best lap of a 31.06 is still the fastest lap of the race. If it goes green this race, Matt Boone is on the back foot, as Nate Lehman will have more fresh tires. But of course, the late race caution could change everything. Chris Murphy almost changing everything for Nate Lehman in the 1-4. Lehman sends it in deep on Murphy, way too deep on Murphy, after Murphy slams the wall out of the 4th corner. Lehman possibly injuring the right side of his car, and you can see there's a crimp and a cramp on the outside of the leader's Ford. The Midas Mustang gives way to the Southern Beverage Mustang, and there you can see in the hood the dent that Murphy has left on his race car. Josh Arnold trying to take the lead from the 1-4, and it's a drag race down the front straight. 30 laps to go, and the Southern Beverage Ford has to get on the brakes really hard. You saw the smoke just pouring out of the right front corner. Nate Lehman holds on to the lead, and that was a few hairy laps right before pit stop cycles. And if Nate Lehman has to repair that damage to continue, it could cost him this race win if we go green to the end. But so much is still up in the air for the 14, the 22, and the 38 of Matt Boone. Jose Ruiz in the 2-3 through that second corner, now behind Shad Swatsworth. 2.5 seconds is the gap between Swatsworth and Corey Blevins. He's up 8 places from where he started. Enough said in the chat asking if the top 10 still have to pit. Yes, indeed they do. Matt Boone sits in 9th. He last pitted on lap 72. All the drivers ahead of him, the top 8, have to come down pit road. 10th, Chris Murphy. 11th, Jeff Lednum. And 12th, John Osborne have yet to pit as well. Then you have Zach Meredith in 13th. Currently a lap down, but he last pitted on lap 72. Last time around, Meredith put in a 32.4 second lap. Credit to John Osborne on tires that are almost 15 laps older. Osborne not far off of that time and really holding his own in the top 12. Josh Arnold finding himself only 2/10 behind Nate Lehman, is the 1-4, feeling the effect from that heavy collision with the 2-1. The offer pad Supra, Chris Murphy, touched the wall a little bit out of turn number 4. Looked like he got a nudge from the 1-4 of Nate Lehman, and then Lehman sent it in deep on the 21, gave him a bit of a scrape on the left-hand side. Just a scrape, though, where you would say the 1-4 of Nate Lehman has a big dent on the hood. See if you can peep the damage. Right there on the left-hand side as you're watching the 1-4 car. The right front corner, if you will. Can't really tell if that tire is towed out, but we'll find out after the pit stop cycles go through. 25 laps remain, and Nate Lehman, who last pitted on lap 56, just trying to hold on to that 1-4. Enough said in the chat says Boone untying the gap quick over a second a lap. Matt Boone, last time around, 31.99 seconds. Nate Lehman last time around, 32.45 seconds. So at least 0.6 of a second to 1 full second every time around the track. Matt Boone with a 31.96 that last time around. Nate Lehman with a 32.67 seconds. Enough said says 14 will be fine, and he's still commanding that lead. He's certainly going to walk away with the most laps led tonight, but will it be a win for Nate Lehman? Looking for his first victory of the season, and the pilot of the Midas Mustang sits fewer than 2/10 ahead of Josh Arnold, who might be preparing for a pass. The 2-2 gets closer and closer, looking to the inside now, but just can't quite open the door downstairs. Hunter Peach filling in the gap between second and third. 1-4, 2-2, 2-6, your top 3 out of 2 headed into that third corner. The Midas Ford ahead of the Southern Beverage Mustang and the Rheem Toyota Supra rounding out your podium positions for now. Jarrett Manning giving way. The 2-2 sends it in deep, and Josh Arnold, is he just getting a great run out of that second corner? Gives it a lot of wheel out of turn number 2. Certainly not the line that the 22 expected into turn number 3, but he remains within 0.4 to the leader, Nate Lehman. .20 to go, 1-9 at the line next time by. Papa Bear Campbell sitting in the 18th position, 4 laps down. The ex-Rocker Ford still fighting hard. John Osborne, 8 seconds behind Jeff Lednam, but only 0.4 ahead of Zach Meredith, who's got far fresher tires than Osborne. Osborne with a bit of a blink. Watching Meredith get closer, but you just saw that 17 Pepsi Chevrolet give a real wiggle out of that second corner. You can tell Meredith is really giving it everything. A very high approach in that third corner. Cole Snyder has had an incident, and there's the caution. Caution number 1 is out, and here's the late race caution that, well, was going to throw everything upside down, and now the leaders have to make a decision. Track position versus tires, and what is the degradation in these last well, 17 or 16 laps that we're going to have. Let's see what happened to the number 2-4 Storm Bowling Chevrolet. Contact with the 3-8 of Matt Boone. Boone scrapes the wall. Enough said says, wow, and then the 38 just looks like he clipped the 2-4. Let's ride along shotgun with Cole Snyder. See if we can have a look from Matt Boone's angle. Boone on full opposite lock, and it just looks like poor timing. Gets right into car 2-4. And not a good look for the 2-4 or the 38. All of the top 6 drivers coming down pit road make that top 7 drivers. Byron Jones is on his way in. Chris Murphy getting a wave around. Enough said says 38 just drove it in there, and he did indeed. Bold move from Matt Boone. He's sitting in 15th, coming down pit road, repairing the damage on car 38, and that possibly screws up the pit strategy that he had. And there's NNR Bowling himself in the chat, driver of the 38, Matt Boone. He said pedals disconnected. And that certainly explains why the 38 took such a sharp entry. There you see you saw the wheel was on full opposite lock on the way out. And Matt Boone now having to do it the hard way. He'll be restarting outside the top 10 with fresh tires and fuel. Nate Lehman still holds on to the lead. He's got Josh Arnold behind him, and everybody is now on even footing. Jeff Lednam decided to stay out in the 37 car. He's going to be restarting from 9th. Nate Lehman still has the lead. This gives us a chance to take our first and what looks like will be only break of the event. Fans at home, don't go anywhere. We're going to be back in 60 seconds with the final few laps from New Hampshire. You're watching di9 Designs. Turn down for what? Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a minute. Back at Loudon. Enough said asking, does this league need another driver? Check them out on Twitter at the Turn Down for What Racing League or something like that on Twitter. But you can check them out here. Nate Lehman sits in the first position on the inside of Josh Arnold as the green flag comes out. 15 laps to go from virtual New Hampshire. Everybody in the top 7, top 8 on fresh tires, giving it a deep send, but on cold tires, they've got to remember Ruiz on the outside of Shad Swatsworth in the 1 car, the 2-4 of Cole Snyder involved in that last accident, giving the outside wall just a bit of a scrape out of turn number 2. Everybody making it through calmly and cleanly thus far. Zach Meredith in the 1-7 car on the back end of the top 10, chasing down Jeff Lednam in the 37. Corey Blevins in that 48 car. He's up 8 places from where we started. Blevins just ahead of Jose Ruiz. Slam on the wall. That's the 44 of Byron Jones with an uncontrolled Chevrolet. John Osborne, who was running a flawless race thus far in the 14th position. He got a big piece of that mess. And the 44 of Jones, look at the right-hand side, just destroyed the right front corner, and even the back end of that car caught some damage. There goes Wisconsin's Matt Boone, as Corey Blevins now has the fastest lap of tonight's race. The 48 Flat Out Motorsports Chevrolet, big wreck at the back. You just saw Matt Boone down to the inside, right into the tires after the 8-1 of John Osborne uncontrolledly skids off the second corner. Boone plows into the tires down the back straight. 11 laps to go and we stay green. Nate Lehman leads Josh Arnold by 0.2. Hunter Peach is in third. Corey Blevins is in fourth. Nate Lehman continues to lead this race. Josh Arnold's in the second position. Hunter Peach sits in third. Matt Boone comes back onto the racetrack in the 19th position, 3 laps down. It looks like his night is over. Josh Arnold still in that second position by 0.2 of a second, but how patient will he be? 9 at the line. 8 miles remain. Next time by. Hunter Peach sitting in third patiently, and in our bowling says car was stuck in the tires on the inside. What a night after a brilliant pit strategy was ruined by a caution and a crash. Matt Boone ends his night wrecked down the back straight. John Osborne survives after that altercation. Look at the right-hand side of that car after slamming the outside wall, and the lap prior, Arnold got a piece of the 44 of Byron Jones, who slammed the outside wall. That repeat U.S. Air Force Chevrolet wrecked on the second corner and now just trying to survive. Chris Murphy, almost 2 seconds behind, is chasing him down for that 7th position. At the front, Corey Blevins sits 0.3 of a second behind this battle for the second position. Hunter Peach making moves, sends it in super deep on Josh Arnold. Gets into the left-hand corner. The 48 of Blevins takes advantage. Arnold in the 22 makes it through. Peach giving up that position and gets knocked back down to the 6th spot. Josh Arnold sitting in 5th. Shad Swatsworth moves up into 4th. California's Jose Ruiz on the bronze medal spot right now. Corey Blevins up 10 spots from where we started, and Nate Lehman running away with this race with 6 laps remaining. He's up 1 1/3 seconds on Corey Blevins. Blevins still in the second position. Jose Ruiz half a second behind him and starting to close in. Shad Swatsworth in that 4th position with Josh Arnold behind him in 5th. The 2-2 after really heating those tires through that first corner via the right front fender of Hunter Peach. Holding on to the back end of the top 5. How will Peach approach the pass now? He's got to be extremely careful inside the final 5 laps. Jeff No on the back end of the top 10. He sits less than 0.2 away from Jeff Lednum in the 37. The Navy Ford coming up behind the Snap-on Ford Mustang. Lednum giving way on the top side. No to the inside lane. Can he make it stick out of turn number 4? Lednum a bit shaky out of the final corner with 4 laps to go, but holding on to 9th. Hunter Peach, after giving it the full send into turn number 1, watches Josh Arnold look to the inside of Shad Swatsworth. Arnold can't make the pass for 4th stick just yet. Nate Lehman extends his lead to 1.7 seconds. Despite a bit of intermittent blinking tonight, Lehman has just dominated tonight's race. Jose Ruiz sits in 3rd. 0.8 is the gap between the number 2-3 DuPont Chevrolet and the number 1 Bass Pro Camaro. Swatsworth isn't alone. Josh Arnold getting closer still, almost putting the bumper to him, and you see the 2-6 of Peach having to think that entrance into the first corner. He's got to give his competitors space out of that corner. He cannot risk making more contact. Enough said, says Blevins getting beat on the exit. He's staying too high. Ruiz getting up to him out of that 4th corner with the white flag in the air. You saw Josh Arnold try for the move on Shad Swatsworth. Less than a mile remains in this race, and it's been Nate Lehman's afternoon. What more can you say? 5 races, and it will be 5 unique winners. The Midas Ford, with clear sailing ahead, clear sailing behind, will record his first win this season. Lehman will make his way through these points from 4th, further on up, and he's got the magic at the mile. Nate Lehman wins round 5. Shad Swatsworth holds on to 4th. Josh Arnold in 5th. Zach Meredith and Enrique Quinones drag racing for the 11th position. Duct Tape 914 celebrating Lehman's win as Meredith sends it high. Going to give it a really fast crossover out of number 4, but the New Jersey native Quinones will defend high. Drag race for 11th, and it goes to Zach Meredith, who just beats the number 9 of Enrique Quinones for the 11th position. Drivers giving their gentle congratulations to the 14 of Nate Lehman. He's got the win tonight. Fans at home, we're going to talk to our top 3 drivers. That's Nate Lehman, Corey Blevins, Jose Ruiz. The number 12 of Stephen Brinnick will also offer his congratulations. A well-earned victory for the 1-4 of Nate Lehman. Cole Snyder waits for Lehman. And other drivers join, and we're going to have top 3 on the podium in just a moment. Drivers, don't go anywhere. Podium interviews in just a moment. On the podium now with Sacramento, California's Jose Ruiz, driver of that number 23 DuPont Chevrolet. Jose, another top 3 for you, my friend. You continue to climb through the points. Was there anything left in your DuPont Camaro?
Probably not. I was not expected to finish third. I was perfectly fine with fifth, being I'm not very good here. But third, I think a couple cars in front got into each other, so able to capitalize on that. And I was trying to catch Corey there, but I just didn't have enough. I think I killed my tires right at the end. But third place is pretty good for me because I awful, but good finish and good win for a Griff there.
You're going to head into next week's race, third in the points, just 7 markers off of the leader. Congratulations on the bronze medal.
Yep, thank you, sir.
Our second place driver, the number 48 of Corey Blevins in the Flat Out Motorsports Chevrolet, finishing in the second spot. Corey, the first half of the race didn't look like you were going to earn a medal, but come the checkered flag, you sat just 2 seconds off the leader. Good finish.
Yeah, unbelievable. 15th to second. I mean, I was 15th at one point. I thought it was like, this is not going to happen. This is going to be my worst race so far. It's like somehow, some way. I just kept clawing at it and, kept getting up there. And I was maybe hoping for a caution, and I finally got it. Just those top 3 guys, they were pretty strong there. I thought I was going to get a 4th place finish, and then they had the tangle there at the end. So I was able to get second. But yeah, great finish. I'm really happy about that.
Next week in the Pocono Mountains, you're going to go into that race 8th in points, only 11 digits off of the top 5. Congratulations on second place.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Our race-winning interview brought to you by the good folks over at di9 Designs, the Chase Elliott custom graphic design page on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at di9 Designs. They post graphics on all platforms multiple times a week and take requests on all types of logos, Chase Elliott wallpapers, iRacing schemes, and more. Follow and DM them for more details. They are not affiliated with Hendrick Motorsports or Chase Elliott. Be sure to use code di9 Designs for free shipping on your diecast and merch orders over $20 on CircleBDiecast.com. And now the winner. Driver of the number 14 Midas Ford, Nate Lehman. You have got your first win of the season. You are the 5th winner in 5 races this season, and turned down for what? And headed next week into Pocono. You're only 3 points off of Zach Meredith in the standings.
Man, Rick, I'm so excited, man. Second win and turned down for what? And probably the most fun I've had in a long time, being able to race with J-Paw and Peach up there, just duking it out, the 3 of us. A little disappointed the caution came out there at the end because I feel like it would have been a heck of a battle there to the line. But all in all, solid performance and really, really, really happy to get the win.
You've got the W tonight and headed next week into Pocono. Will it be 6 winners in 6 races, or can you go for 2 straight victories?
No, sir. I'm going to go ahead and call the shot now, and I hope I don't jinx him, but J-Paw was really good at Pocono last year, and I expect him to put a check in the W column there.
We'll see 7 days from now, but you've got to go celebrate with the rest of your teammates and fans. Congratulations on the gold medal, Nate.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Rick.
Fans, that's going to put another cap on this great season we've had so far. Who would have guessed 5 winners in 5 races? But here we go. Next week, we're going to look at 6 for 6 at the Tricky Triangle. 88 laps is what we'll be running next week from the 2.5-mile track in Long Pond, Pennsylvania. Thursday night, that's 2 nights from now, Thursday Night Thunder, the ARCA series goes to Watkins Glen. That's Thursday, March 24, 8:30 p.m. right here on Rick James TV. Give us a follow, give us a subscription, and don't miss that next race. And until that next race, everybody, please stay safe.